So, Take-Two just dropped their numbers for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025, which ended on June 30th, 2024. Now, I know financial reports can be dry, but stick with me. This stuff actually tells us a lot about what's happening in the gaming world and what we might expect in the future. Let's start with the headline numbers. Take-Two reported net bookings of $1.22 billion for the quarter. That's actually a small increase of about 1% compared to the same period last year. Now, you might be thinking, what, only 1%? That doesn't sound great. But here's the thing. The gaming industry has been going through some tough times lately, with many companies reporting declines. So even a small increase is actually pretty solid in this environment. One of the really interesting things in this report is what games are bringing in the big bucks. The top contributors to net bookings were NBA 2K24, Grand Theft Auto Online and Grand Theft Auto 5, Toon Blast, their hyper-casual mobile games, Empires & Puzzles, Match Factory, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Red Dead Online, Words with Friends, and Merge Dragons. What does this tell us? Well, a few things. First, Take-Two's strategy of having a mix of big console, PC titles, and mobile games seems to be working well for them. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket. Second, it's pretty impressive that Grand Theft Auto V and Online are still such big earners. I mean, GTA 5 first came out in 2013, and it's still one of their top performers. That's crazy longevity. Now, let's talk about what this means for us as gamers. Take-Two is still heavily investing in game development. They mentioned they have the most ambitious development pipeline in their history. That's exciting. It means we can expect a lot of new games coming our way in the next few years. Speaking of which, let's look at their upcoming lineup. The big one, of course, is Grand Theft Auto 6, which is slated for release in the fall of 2025. But before that, we've got NBA 2K25 coming in September 2024, WWE 2K25, and Civilization 7 in Q4 of fiscal 2025, which is early 2025 in normal person speak. And a game called Tales of the Shire, a The Lord of the Rings game, sometime in fiscal 2025. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Take-Two is expecting their net bookings to increase in fiscal years 2026 and 2027. What does that tell us? Well, it looks like they're betting big on GTA 6. They're essentially saying, hey, we know our growth might be a bit slow right now, but just wait until GTA 6 drops. It's going to be huge. And you know what? They're probably right. The hype around GTA 6 is off the charts, and if it lives up to expectations, it could be one of the biggest game launches we've ever seen. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Take-Two reported a net loss for the quarter of $262 million. That's bigger than their loss in the same quarter last year. They're spending a lot of money developing new games, especially GTA 6, which is likely a massive investment. They're betting that this investment will pay off big time in the future. Another interesting tidbit, 83% of their net bookings came from recurrent consumer spending. That's things like in-game purchases, virtual currency, and add-on content. This tells us that Take-Two, like many game companies, is focusing heavily on games that keep people playing and spending over long periods of time. For us as gamers, this could mean a few things. On one hand, it likely means we'll see continued support and new content for popular games like GTA Online. On the other hand, it might also mean more emphasis on microtransactions and in-game purchases in future games. Now, let's talk mobile gaming for a sec. A whopping 58% of Take-Two's net bookings came from mobile games. That's huge. It shows just how important mobile gaming has become in the industry. Even a company known for big console and PC titles like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption is making a majority of its money from mobile games. Looking ahead, Take-Two seems optimistic about the future. They're expecting net bookings between $555 billion to $565 billion for the full fiscal year. That's a pretty big number, and it suggests they're confident about their upcoming releases. So, what's the takeaway? Well, it looks like we can expect some big things from Take-Two in the coming years. GTA 6 is obviously the headline act, but don't sleep on titles like the new Civilization game or that mysterious Lord of the Rings game. At the same time, this report shows how the gaming industry is changing. Mobile gaming is becoming increasingly important, even for traditional console and PC game publishers. and the focus on recurrent consumer spending means we'll likely see more games designed to keep us playing and potentially spending for longer periods. One last thing to keep in mind, Take-Two mentioned that their outlook assumes continued growth in the installed base of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So if you've been on the fence about upgrading to a new console, it looks like the next couple of years might be a good time to do it, especially with GTA 6 on the horizon. Let's do some numbers for GTA 6. Trust me, it won't be boring. First off, let's remember that GTA 6 has been an absolute juggernaut. It's sold over 180 million copies and generated more than $8 billion in revenue since its release in 2013. That's not just game sales, but also all that sweet microtransaction money from GTA Online. So, GTA 6 is starting from a pretty high bar. Now, the gaming market has grown significantly since GTA 5's release. There are more gamers, more powerful consoles, and people are generally willing to spend more on their gaming habits. Plus, the hype for GTA 6 is off the charts. I mean, people are analyzing blurry screenshots and low-res leaks like they're searching for the meaning of life. Taking all that into account, it's not crazy to think that GTA 6 could sell 25–30 million copies in its first week alone. At $70 a pop, assuming that's the standard price point by then, we're looking at potentially $1.75 to $2.1 billion in revenue just from initial sales, and that's just the beginning. Over its lifetime, GTA 6 could easily surpass GTA 5's sales figures. Let's say it hits 200 million copies sold over 5–7 years. That's another 14 billion right there. But here's where it gets really interesting. The online component. GTA Online has been printing money for Take-Two. With GTA 6, they're going to double down on this for sure. Improved graphics, more frequent updates, crazier events. They're going to pull out all the stops to keep players engaged and spending. If they can maintain even half of GTA Online's success, which brings in hundreds of millions each year, we could be looking at an additional 500 million to 1 billion in annual revenue, just from the online mode. Let's not forget about potential DLC and expansions. If they release substantial single-player expansions, which fans have been clamoring for since GTA 5, that could easily add another billion or two to the total over the game's lifespan. So, if we add all this up, initial sales, ongoing game sales, online revenue, and DLC, over a 7 to 10 year period, because let's face it, this game is going to have legs, we could be looking at total revenue in the ballpark of $20 to $25 billion. Yeah, that's billion with a B. Now, before we all start planning how to become Take-Two shareholders, remember that this is just an estimate. A lot can happen in the gaming industry. Maybe a new technology comes along that changes everything. Maybe people finally get tired of stealing cars and causing mayhem, though I doubt it. But based on GTA 5's performance and the current trajectory of the gaming industry, these numbers aren't out of the realm of possibility. One thing's for sure. When GTA 6 drops, it's going to be more than just a game release. It'll be a cultural event, a financial juggernaut, and probably the topic of about 1 million YouTube videos. And for Take-Two? Well, let's just say their accountants are probably already doing happy dances in anticipation. One more thing that's almost certain, that for Rockstar Games, it's only GTA and RDR from now on. So, if we look at Rockstar's history, they've definitely been narrowing their focus over the years. Back in the PS2 era, they were pumping out all sorts of games. GTA, sure, but also Bully, Manhunt, Midnight Club, and The Warriors. But as time went on, they started to focus more and more on their big hitters, mainly GTA and Red Dead Redemption. Now, after this latest financial report from Take-Two, it's tempting to think they might double down on this strategy. I mean, GTA is still bringing in the big bucks, even after all these years. And with GTA 6 on the horizon, it's like they're sitting on a gold mine that's about to explode. So why mess with a winning formula, right? But here's the thing. Rockstar isn't just any game studio. They've got a reputation for pushing boundaries and surprising people. And let's be real, they've got enough money to take some risks if they want to. So I could see it going either way. On one hand, they might decide to put all their eggs in the GTA and Red Dead baskets. These are proven moneymakers, and with the way games are evolving into long-term services, they could easily spend the next decade just pumping out content for GTA 6 and the next Red Dead game. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if they've got something new cooking. Remember, this is the company that dropped Red Dead Redemption when everyone was expecting another GTA. They like to keep us on our toes. If they do go for a new IP, I'd bet it would be something ambitious. Maybe an open-world sci-fi game, or something in a completely different genre that no one sees coming. The thing is, Rockstar has the luxury of time and money. They can spend years developing something new without worrying too much about the bottom line. There's also the possibility of reviving one of their older IPs. Bully 2 has been rumored for years, and there's definitely a fan base that would go nuts for a new Midnight Club or Manhunt. But given how long it's been since we've seen these franchises, they'd probably need to be completely reimagined for the modern era. One wild card to consider is the changing leadership at Rockstar. With the departure of Dan Houser, one of the key creative forces behind GTA and Red Dead, we might see a shift in direction. New leaders often want to put their own stamp on things, which could mean pushing for new IPs or taking existing ones in fresh directions. The financial pressures from Take-Two could play a role too. If they're pushing for more regular revenue, which seems likely given the focus on recurrent consumer spending in the report, we might see Rockstar experimenting with different types of games that can be monetized over time. Maybe a persistent online world that's not tied to GTA or Red Dead. At the end of the day, my gut tells me that Rockstar will probably keep their main focus on GTA and Red Dead for the foreseeable future. These are just too big to ignore. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they announce a new IP or the revival of an old one in the next few years. They've got the talent and resources to juggle multiple big projects. Now it's safe to say that Rockstar is the most powerful studio right now. First off, let's address the elephant in the room, Grand Theft Auto. This franchise isn't just popular, it's a cultural phenomenon. GTA 5 has sold over 180 million copies, making it the second best-selling game of all time, only behind Minecraft. It's not just a game, it's become a part of popular culture. People who've never touched a controller in their lives know about GTA. That kind of reach is insane. But here's the kicker. It's not just about sales. Rockstar has managed to keep GTA 5 relevant for a decade. They've turned it into a living, breathing world with GTA Online. They've mastered the art of the games as a service model, keeping players engaged and spending year after year. That's a level of longevity that most game studios can only dream of. Now, let's talk about quality. Rockstar doesn't just pump out games, they craft experiences. When they release a game, it's an event. Remember the hype around Red Dead Redemption 2? The attention to detail, the immersive world, the storytelling. Rockstar consistently delivers on a level that few can match. They take their time, sometimes to the frustration of fans, but the results speak for themselves. You can mention Valve, but they're not really in the same game anymore. They're more focused on Steam and hardware these days. And Bethesda, well, Starfield was supposed to be their big comeback, but it didn't quite hit the mark. It's good, but it's not redefined the industry good. Rockstar, seems to redefine things every time they release a major title. They push boundaries, both technically and narratively. They're not afraid to court controversy, which keeps them in the spotlight and adds to their mystique. Another factor is their global appeal. GTA isn't just popular in the West, it's huge in places like India, Brazil, and Russia. Rockstar has managed to create games that resonate across cultures, which is no easy feat. Now, could their dominance be challenged? Sure, it's possible. The gaming industry is always evolving. But right now, it's hard to see who could do it. CD Projekt Red was looking like a contender after The Witcher 3, but then Cyberpunk 2077 happened. Naughty Dog makes incredible games, but they don't have quite the same cultural impact. Maybe someone like From Software could make a perfect game, but they're still more niche compared to Rockstar's mainstream appeal. The thing is, Rockstar isn't just a game studio, they're a cultural force. They've transcended gaming to become a household name. But here's a wild thought. Could Rockstar become a victim of their own success? The expectations for GTA 6 are through the roof. If it doesn't deliver, which seems unlikely, but you never know, that could open the door for someone else to step up. For now, though, Rockstar's position seems pretty secure. They've got the perfect mix of mainstream appeal, critical acclaim, and financial success. They're like the marvel of the gaming world, a hugely popular, consistently delivering, and always leaving people wanting more. In the end, Rockstar's dominance comes down to a simple formula. They make games that people want to play, talk about, and come back to for years. Until someone else cracks that code on the same scale, Rockstar's gonna keep wearing that crown. And honestly, it doesn't look like they plan on giving it up anytime soon. We are done. I hope you found this video informative. Subscribe to the channel because I make a lot of GTA-related content. Trust me, you won't regret joining the party. I'll see you in the next. Till then, take care and have a nice day.